YouTube. So we have officially started again with our morning Appropriation Committee's meeting. We are going to continue with section E11 in the language. We're walking through the Senate changes of the bill. Diane, my recommendation
Yes.
is going to be that we don't go through all of these pieces.
No.
And that we're going to weigh in with the chair and with House Ways and
So
Means.
it's been done. And just in the nutshell, guys, these two sections, E111.1 and E111.2 is language that was in the miscellaneous tax bill, H954, that the Senate decided to put in here. There's probably will be discussions about whether or not this much policy is okay in our budget, but that's where they come from. That's those two sections. So we don't need to go into them, but that's the Senate put in something that was a part of something the House was working on. Just saying.
I don't know if the miscellaneous tax bill is moving or not, but I think that
Right.
stuff is in here.
And so that's going to be a conversation with how does the chair of Ways and Means and their committee choose to want to approach these final days with that bill and whether or not this is the tool to do it.
So now my question is, do we go right to 112 or did they add some language in between? So this is all.
Oh yeah, wait, they got some new stuff in here, don't they?
Yeah.
Oh, let's back
They
up.
added on, yeah, there's more new stuff from Friday.
So
no, this-
Montpelier 2 is fine. 2 is the same thing. So 111.3
This
is
is
brand
all-
new this morning.
Right, let's just see this. So 111.2, we don't have a .2 in the old language though.
No, 0.2 and 0.1 were both from the miscellaneous.
Okay, we do have
Tax.
112s, yes. Okay,
So-
so it's added 111.3.
111.3 must have been added on Friday because that's brand new.
Yeah.
Okay, and now let's,
Don't know. And then same thing with 4.
can you move up?
So-
to 4? Okay, and those are date changes. So we will check in with Ways and Means on both of those. And
And
she-
11.5.
Is there a 0.5? Let's see. where-
Yep, there sure is.
Oh,
yep.
wait.
But is that tax or is that something else? Must be taxes.
It's
Yep.
taxes, yep.
Yep, and 6. And 6. So all of those from 111.1 all the way to 111.6 are in my bailiwick for taxes. So you can leave them with me to dissect.
Okay, and then we're going to move on to 112.
Yep,
Yeah.
that's Peter.
I found this really interesting.
Yes.
And so we are going to, let's see, sorry. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. What we're going to do, BGS, Peter, is this you?
Yep.
Yes, it is.
So I'm not sure what committee of jurisdiction, if this is this buildings and general services? I would assume that only electric lawnmowers and leaf mowers be purchased if
Yep.
they meet the same kind of equivalent. I think you need to run this by
Will do.
It's institutions, it's corrections and institutions. And I was talking to Alice about other changes and just noted this and told her you'd be in touch, Peter.
Thank you.
It's interesting. I don't know if they even make such a thing that has the same lifespan.
They do, but they don't
Yeah,
run
they
it
do.
long.
They did. No, I have an electric weed whacker. Perfect, great. It's fantastic.
Love it. Yep,
Yeah.
you can start them.
Yes. Push the button, go.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
out on the middle of the interstate and it can't be
Yeah.
plugged, in, does it have the same life cycle?
It's
And
got 4 batteries. Yeah,
Yeah.
I hear what you're saying. You're right.
I think there's a bigger discussion here. Okay,
Okay.
Well, so we're having too long a discussion about this section now, but it does say provided a functional equivalent is available. So
Right.
if you're out in the middle of the interstate, they may not have a functional equivalent yet. They will. Not yet.
And
So,
just for the
we're good.
record,
Keep
if
going.
you're in the interstate, that's AOT, not BGS, so it's a
That's true.
different, yeah, they're not being, AOT is
That's
not.
true.
included.
Oh, that's true.
That's a
That's
good point. Yep.
okay. So 125, we can skip to 126.1, I think is the next piece.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. it is. So if you don't mind, Madam Chair, I'll just kind of roll that all into one big clump that I've reprinted because this 126.1 all the way to 126.
You just froze.
Yeah.
Diane? Okay, 126.1 through 126.4.
4.
Yeah.
So that, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So Diane will be working with a
Yes.
group of people determining, you know, what buildings will become available. What this has done is that it says that
If you could stop there.
the legislative branch will determine solely where they meet. Is that correct, Diane?
Well, they took down everything, all the sections that we had for our construct and rewrote them. I did watch their meeting and was able to glean a lot more of where they were maybe going. And then looking at their final language leads my attention, and that of probably I've sent it off to the Joint Legislative Committee Management Chair, the Chair of Institutions and Corrections, and to Government Ops because of the body camera piece.
Right, and
So
the-
I'm hearing back from them, so that's under development. But the one that I do want to flag that's not just on the space is the body camera piece, which
126.4.
yeah, there we go, right there. 126.4 did not exist prior to us. Although we did have language, if you go above, they took out something. Our 126.4 and replaced it with this 126.4 body cameras. So this is asking for a report back. Remember, we had questions around whether or not there was policy. So I'm not sure if this gets to where the committee wants to be on this. So in here, there's the request to have the Sergeant of Arms present this how the body cam would be used by November, and it also instructs the committee to adopt an interim policy no later than December 31st. I'm not so sure where people are on that. I've sent this language off in the budget numbers section, which is funny, and maybe I can flag this with Maria or somebody who might be listening, because the Sergeant at Arms section of the budget is E128.
Oh.
So I don't know why they've got it under 126.4. That's neither here nor there, but it is something that I just noted that.
Okay, yeah, good. We can make a note of that. So it
Yeah.
looks like it was in the wrong section.
Sometimes I'm glad that I look at things, but anyway, the
Oh,
120
me too.
in the B128, they did increase the dollars, the 21,000 we took out. So this will be a discussion that we and the committee and others will have as to where we're going to go with that.
Okay, and Diane, you will follow up with GovOps and we'll determine.
And the Joint Legislative Committee. Yep.
And
Yes, Madam Chair.
thank you. 127.
Was good. Was good. They didn't change it.
So the next
Now
change
you're out of my zone.
is 130.2. Is there anything else that anyone has before? Was there new one before 130.2? Okay. Mary, this is yours. This is new language. Mary, you've been in touch with the auditor. Do you want to just give your quick summary and then you'll follow up?
He had some concern that he was being asked to do some work on, given that they have voluntarily reduced, their the way they're balancing their budget is with vacancy savings, and they have not filled a couple of positions, and we're adding a bit of work. He would like to see this removed. I asked him to speak with the Senate about why it was in there. So we're talking about it. He was also aware of this, of an issue associated with this, and was already doing some work on it. And mostly was just disappointed that he didn't know there was an interest in this until I sent it to him on this weekend. So we'll sort it out.
Thank you, Mary. Chip has a question. Chip?
Yeah, I just, maybe Mary is going to find out. I just wondered what the issue is that these are the transport deputies, right?
Yeah, and I'm sorry, Chip, I grabbed it because it was the auditor, and I mentioned it to Kitty, and I said, oh, I've got to tell Chip about it
No,
because.
I'm very happy that you grabbed it.
Yeah.
I was just curious why somebody wanted them audited for this particular period.
It was, I'll share the email chain. It had to do with the, what the state paid deputies were doing during the pandemic.
Okay, thanks.
Thanks. I'll do that now.
Okay, thank you, Mary. I'm just writing a note there. Okay, the next section that I think we can move to is the next
It's a good jump.
204.
Okay, so this section that you're coming to, there you go. This is what I referred to earlier about the CHINS appropriation. So the judiciary came up with a plan that they submitted to the CHINS reform work group. And the plan is reflected in this appropriation. And so what they're doing is they're appropriating money for the second year, the 2020 dollars, they're appropriating 1.841 in fiscal 21, and according to this plan, and then they're appropriating another 2.765 in 2022, also according to this plan. And I've got a copy of the plan dated the March 24th, 2020. And I will send it to you. There's also, I stopped too soon. There's also an appropriation for 2023 of 1.142. So what they're doing here is appropriating the CHINS money so that, you know, it's all accounted for. There we go.
This does not use the CHINS money for the stimulus equity. Instead, you know, they use the human services caseload reserve. So we're going to the CHINS money, I think, is within Kimberly. This is plan. We need to go back and look at the work group budget plan dated 24. And this is a big policy piece that needs to be considered by human services because it's the children in need of custody.
Right, and it kind of straddles judiciary too.
No,
I mean, I'm aware of the spreadsheet that this came from. The only thought that I have, and I'm not arguing one way or another about which way to fund this in the past history of how this came to be. March 24th was a snapshot in time, and fast forward and here we are now. And I just don't know, even between now and March, what has happened. But I'm assuming that all of this has been communicated with the folks who put together the spreadsheet, but I just am voicing that.
You will circle round with those individuals, Kimberly?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So we're going to just leave this. This is a major piece. And if we did agree with the outline here, then we have to either agree with or find a substitute for the $3 million for stimulus.
I don't, Don't know.
Yes, the CHINS money, we took the 3 million from this construct,
Well,
not from this.
yeah,
construct.
we took it, but they're redoing what's there, what would be left, right?
Yeah, they're using the full amount of money, this full 7 million here.
Not my,
Okay.
isn't this a judicial, I'm sorry, judicial?
Well, it's children in
Maybe.
need services, so it's really out of,
No, it's,
It's-
well, it's both judiciary
Okay.
and DCF.
Okay,
But this was a construct worked on by the Judiciary Committee. I see
Yeah.
this as just saying, hey, this is what we intended to do and we can revisit it next year. Because they're all talking about the money in 22, not 21.
but if we agree with this construct, it means that we need to go back and visit our stimulus equity bill and how we're going to pay for it. And if we agree to this, then we don't have the $3 million. And do we agree to the caseload reserves, or are we finding different ways to cover that?
I hear you now, Madam Chair. It's, yeah, if we agree to this, we're also agreeing to that, so we have to be very careful.
Agreeing to that or agreeing to find the money somewhere else?
Either way, they're tied together, so you can't do one without the other.
So I'll put Chip and Kimberly on that section since it is judiciary and DCF. Okay, state police. Let's see what we have here on E209, where the changes are. Keep going, Maria, please. I'm not seeing anything until we get to E314. That's where I see the next change. Is that where everyone else sees the next change?
E237 right here.
Yeah, 237.
Oh, that's a new piece then, right?
Yeah.
It is.
Okay, let me see where that would go into. E237.
Ooh, liquor and lottery.
Hold on
Yeah.
a second.
They're messing up my notepad. I've got to squish this in.
Yeah, this is an amendment that was added on the floor on Friday, the 18th, by Senators Clarkson et al. And I have been in touch with House General folks, and the first reaction is that it looks fine. There is one more detail, though, we're just circling back about. What it does is apparently it used to be that all licenses and permits, if I'm getting the language correct, were to be renewed on the same date, and this sort of changes it to a rolling basis.
So that if you got a license in February, you don't have to renew it in a few months.
Right. So suppose you got one, in March, and then all of a sudden April rolls around, you paid for a full year and you've used it for a very short time.
And have they checked in with the department to see if this creates any issue?
The department likes it because they're in the process of updating their point of sale software. And if they can get their point of sale software, or maybe it's greater software than just point of sale, but if they can get their pieces to align with this statute, that's that works for them. At least that's what I heard in floor discussion. And I will circle back one last time with the House General about there was one other piece. It doesn't relate to what's before us, but yeah.
Thank you, Kimberly, for circling around on that. So I think the next piece then is, there's point 2.
301.
And so that's all related. And is
That's
there
right.
three? Okay,
So the next is 301, I'm sorry, 307.1. And this is new too. It's page 117 of the new bill.
okay, what's the next one is?
It's E307.1 prescription drug coverage, that right there. And I didn't have it on my Friday bill. So this happened sometime.
So we did this, is this different than the prescription drug language that we did?
So
We did,
we did do something, you're correct.
yes, we did. We did, the substitution for preferred drugs, the preferred drug list. And that seems to be all still here. on E307, that all still appears to be here.
Yes.
And we did that with the HIV AIDS. We did that. Keep going. I gotta see. I don't think that's green. Okay, so this is 307.1.
Yes.
Oh, I see.
One. Okay, and this, Dave, you're going to have to bring this to the committee next door. Make sure you and Mary.
Right, I don't see the changes though. Okay, are the changes? Okay, I'll bring it to them, but it doesn't look any different to me,
Than what we did?
but it must be.
It must be
Yeah.
because it's a new section.
It's the new section. It has to do with the, what does it have to do with?
I
Has to
thought
do
maybe they
with the
omitted it.
Insulin, insulin
It's
medication.
insulin.
Yes.
Okay,
Okay, but I'll, yep.
all right, Dave, I've got you.
Hmm.
Wow, they cap it at $100 a month.
And now I think the next piece of language finally is the 314.
Yes.
Not going to spend any time on. This is a bigger conversation than we're going to have right now. We moved the clinicians for public safety to mental health, and they have completely removed that section and moved back to the Department of Public Safety. And so we're just to, that's a bigger conversation than we're having right now. Mary, you are following up on that along with Maida. It's within the two of your sections. Now, stop right there though. However, they did add a new section 314.2, mental health crisis services data collection. And this has the director of racial equity. This had to be Friday language as
I
well.
think so. Yes.
That's brand new today.
All right, Mary, you have a new section as well to bring to the committee next door. There's several sections and I hope you and Dave have them all. Okay, so we can read through this on our own and bring comments back to Mary, but I want to keep going through this language. Sure we highlight everything. Stop right here, 316. This is the next, this is in, not old, but at least it was on Thursday's language. Kimberly, I believe this is yours because this is the long-term plan for justice involved youth. And does this include, this is all the Woodside,
That's correct. Yeah, and there are others who are interested in this, and we are working together, and hopefully we'll resolve any additional language very soon.
Perfect. Thank you, Kimberly. I know a group is working on that. So let's go down. Do we have anything new before 318? This is still all the Woodside 318. Okay. And there's nothing new there. Our next new section is. Where's that new section? Oh my God, they actually went this far without doing something.
Okay, so I think it's 323.
Except I see where they, no, yeah, why is
Yeah.
there, I didn't have that many pages of language that I scrolled through. Did I miss something?
Wait a minute, can I ask a question? This is gonna sound goofy and you guys are, so when I was looking at it, I've got E319, why is it green? I made a note here, it's not green. And then
It's
I've got same as House 327, child support email. And I went, all right, there's something about that it looks like they moved into 319, what was in 327. And I don't understand, but
Well, it would
Yep.
show as green. Can you go back to, could you go back to the end of,
yeah.
go back to the end of Woodside and go to 318?
Yeah.
Wherever okay, stop right there. With 318.1, okay, keep going down a little bit. So we have 318 right here. No, 318 point, I want to go to just 318. Okay, right here, 318 is all the same, and then the 318.1, I just want to make sure something isn't new here. Okay, so that is exactly what we have, 318.2, go to the next one. The 26th, I want to make sure that date, that September date.
Yeah, I got same. They add 319.
Did we
They
already,
have-
did we already go past 318.2?
I believe the order is slightly different, but the language is
it's the same.
unchanged.
Okay, so 318.2 is all right, then the next one should be 319. I just want to make sure, okay, that works, okay.
And 319 seems to be new from the House original bill, but
It
it
was-
is what we used to have as E 327.
It was in the wrong section. So
Well,
we did
okay.
a tactical amendment to change it to this section.
Okay, so I just kind of made some cross arrows like, go look here.
Yeah.
Okay, then we should go right to general housing. This works. Okay, they don't have anything new. And the next thing is they changed the name of the program. They didn't like, and financial capabilities program.
Right, and I did run that past interested parties and they're fine with that. So I think this change is fine.
Okay, that's down below. That's all fine. Thank you, Kimberly. And so we're going to see that change all the way through to keep going. It's on several pages. You're going to see it. Until there shouldn't be, the next thing we should see that's new is 324, 25 are the same, 26 is the same. And then it should stop there. It's 335.1. And Mary, I believe this is yours. This is the Justice Reinvestment of End of Year Funds. Mary, are you with us?
Can't hear me when I'm muted. Yes, and I've shared this with the Corrections Committee. Basically, what it says is if, in addition to what we did with the reinvestment of the money that we specifically called out, they're saying, in addition, if there's anything else left over, you have to carry it forward, and they want to appropriate it, rather than letting it drop to the bottom line.
They wanted to all stay within corrections.
Yep,
And did the Corrections Committee weigh in on this?
I sent them a note this weekend. This was new over the week, from Friday. And so I heard from the chair that it looked okay to her.
Okay, so we'll wait until you hear back from the whole committee.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mary. The next section that I see is new, unless there's some other new language that's going to pop up.
Yeah, it goes to 605. Yeah.
I don't see anything on 605, do you? 605.
605.3.
Okay, that's new language as of Friday, because we only have a 605.2. So, okay.
So
that-
the 605.3 is that new tax credit for hire, which is kind of goes to that same
Oh, no, that's,
what was
Diane,
the miscellaneous tax bill?
Diane,
Yes,
this
ma'am.
is,
Sir.
this is the 529 plan.
Yeah.
What they're doing is they are establishing VSAC as a fiduciary for
Yeah.
529 plans in the state of Vermont. It will need to go to Ways and Means. I will reach out to them. The big issue, for example, if somebody lives in Granville, New York, and they want their grandchild to have a 529 plan in Vermont, they can do that. It's not going to take any tax funds away from the state of Vermont. But if someone lives in Pulteney, Vermont, and they establish a 529
Yeah.
plan with VSAC instead of with their Edward Jones advisor, then it could, probably not, but it could. So I don't see a whole lot of impact
No,
here. And I think that Representative Ansell's concerns were with the pretty big implications of TIFs. And when this when this was included in that, I don't know that she really.
It's
looked
a
at this
part of the
very hard.
54. So that,
No,
when I talk.
929, 529 plans.
No,
That's
the
what-
H 954 is the miscellaneous tax
Gotcha.
bills.
Yeah.
So it was a part of that.
Yep.
And I said, when I talked with them about the TIF stuff, I said, this part is Peter's, but I'll make sure, or that, just kind of flagging that was a part of that 954.
But I have talked to VSAC about this.
Yep.
They said, if you wait a whole year, that then means you've got a whole another year to go before we can actually begin helping Vermonters
Yeah.
to be able to put in place a fiduciarily appropriate plan to be able to go to college.
Yeah, it
Or
looks like a
trade
good
school.
thing. It looks like a
It
good
is.
thing.
It's a very good thing. It's a very good thing. So I'll run this through Janet to separate it from the TIF language, and hopefully there won't be any issues.
But Diane, you highlighted this language when you sent it to Janet.
I did not. I just said that there was higher ed language, that would be from Peter.
Okay, Peter, when you send this language to her, will you please CC me on that? Because I'm following up on all the ways and means pieces. So I want to keep in.
Happy to do so. You'll find that I'm going to also send it to the vice chair. Whenever I send things, I send to chair and vice chair.
Thank you, Peter.
You're welcome.
So that brings us to the next section where we see changes are it's the next section. Peter, subsection 2, that's all part of the same investment plan, isn't it? It's
Yeah, you
already-
got to go all the way to page 152 to get to the next thing, I think. No, that still is, sorry.
Yeah, this is long.
Tax exemption.
Okay.
It is. Here it is, natural resources, page E700.
Okay, so that's a big piece of that was dropped in, but thank you, Peter.
Yep.
Okay, natural resources, this is all still part of it, I think, Teresa? Okay, natural resources, let's stop here. I don't have that. Is that in green? I guess I can't read. This is new then. Marty? Is this yours, Marty? It is?
I guess it is. I have no idea. I'll have to figure it
I
out.
think it's DEC, whoever has DEC.
That's
DEC.
Marty. It's Marty.
Yeah.
Probably, yeah.
I had some real questions about it. It's a pretty profound change. In my opinion, coming from the wastewater disposal world.
Right. I'll run it by the Natural Resources Committee, obviously. And I'll check with DEC. This must be language that they asked to have in. I'm not aware of it.
It just really changes that the requiring the surety bond for septic tanks was part of a balance in they allowed much more liberal wastewater disposal regulations. And part of that was that they would do this bonding process to make sure that the tanks were properly pumped if you were just having a holding tank.
Yeah.
And we're inserting ourselves into a regulatory process through statute.
Okay, Marty, you will follow up with the
Yeah.
committee and with DEC. Bob, Mary, I didn't mean to cut you off. You
Go
can
ahead, yeah.
talking at the same time. Bob?
I just want to add a little historical information. Holding tanks 10, 15 years ago or about there were a no-no. The agency hated them. They distrusted them for that very reason. We're going right back into the old days. And I just gonna have to say this, that Castleton had more stringent regulations on their septic systems in the state of Vermont. So with that, they were allowed to put in holding tanks as last case scenarios around Lake Bombazine. And we did, maybe a dozen of them. I don't know, and I think that's what this is about, but I barely read it, not even. I don't know if we've ever had a problem. I've never heard of a problem, somebody pumping their sewage illegally or some stupid thing like that. I mean, it's not a very, well, I just don't think it's a very likely thing because it's not a very good, pretty thing to do. But anyways, if I'm reading that right, I don't know who's writing it, but they're out in La La Land. But anyways, thank
So
you.
Bob, you will follow up with Marty then, to make sure that you
I
understand.
would be glad to. That'd be
Okay.
fun.
Kimberly?
I'm recalling listening to a Zoom recording, Bob, and I could be wrong, but this may have to do with the Addison County Fairgrounds.
Okay,
Okay.
Marty will follow up and we'll find
Okay.
out.
That, it's
And
more
if
than
our
that.
committee of jurisdiction has had time to take any testimony at all on this piece. Thinking that the next section that is still open is 802. I mean, where there's changes, so obviously it's open right here. This is an interesting piece. We had decided as a committee and voted to give $400,000 additional to the downtown tax credits to bring them from 2.6 million to $3 million. The Senate decided to add $1. And so I at first I wrote down in my notes, is this a typo? I thought perhaps it was a
Yeah.
typo. I wasn't sure what the dollar is, but I'm sure the dollar says, I am a bargaining chip.
I said the same thing. I'm like, what's
Yeah.
with the dollar? Was there some sort of break like the 18 and 17-year-old? There must be a bigger story to this, but yeah, who
And
knows?
so I put that on the Ways and Means list as well. The next section that I have is 811, which they have taken out, but it's reflected somewhere else. Because at first I was really stunned that they took out the cost of the grant. Because in past years, that's something that's been highly supported by the Senate. But that is reflected in earlier language, Maria. Is
Yeah,
that-
it's in D101, where the property transfer tax.
Mhm.
The house, we put it in two places, just, anyway, it was put in two places, but it's reflected in D101.
So we can cross that one off. So the next section after this is, do we have any more changes?
It should be it unless there's something Friday.
I'm really
'Cause
hoping.
all the transportation stuff is good.
Okay, so I don't see any other pieces.
The very last thing, all remaining sections shall take effect passage.
Yeah, they did change that. Yeah.
There's something on page 170, it has to do with the transfer to the central garage.
Right.
Where is that one?
On 170.
It's 170, it's section, let's see, G109.
Oh, there it is.
It looks like it's a technical change.
I'm still looking for G.
It's
108.
It's page 170. It's not on Friday's bill. Well, maybe it was. I'm sorry.
No, it's here. It's, but I don't have it in green. I don't see anything in green on my, oh, they took it out. What,
And then they added something.
they
Yeah,
were-
it's something.
this is a change from Friday.
Yeah.
And shall include 600 as one-time transfer.
So they struck the language of the 600,000 of this transfer shall come from one-time appropriations and instead put in and shall include 600,000 one-time transfer from the T fund. Is this just technical or does this?
Yeah,
just-
it is. This is just technical. It doesn't change any of the dollars. It's just a technical change. And it
Are
has,
we okay
yeah.
with checking that one off then?
If Bob is.
Bob? Are you okay, Bob? That's just a technical piece. Okay. Needless to say, we have a lot of moving pieces here. what I would like to do this afternoon is not meet again because we did get through all this language. I do know that there's
Oh,
individuals.
5 o'clock, yeah.
Those individuals who want to get together with either their chairs or their counterparts in the other committees of jurisdiction. That by tomorrow afternoon, we can have most of this, understanding where there's a common agreement and where there is issues where we don't agree on. One question I want to make sure that we ask, did your committee have time to take testimony on this issue? Because if they didn't have time to take the testimony needed, if it's an easy change or a change that makes sense or something that we've heard about for a long time or an entire bill that we passed, then that information is heard. But if there's been no testimony and it's a big policy change, I do want to know that. And other than that, everyone knows their pieces and
some new ones.
So, Kitty,
No,
there's just,
oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry, this is so minor, I shouldn't even mention it, but the very last word in the bill is a technical amendment that the administration suggested, instead of having the bill effective on October 1, it's just effective on passage.
Yeah,
Okay.
we saw that.
Okay, good.
Oh, because it could be September 27th.
The Senate also added some on Friday added additional dates.
Oh, they
of
did, okay.
Effective dates for some of their changes.
Right, so we'll align all of those with with what we determined, but that's an important point because make sure that when whatever decisions that we make, that either the dates are reflected or eliminated, whatever they need to be. I really think at this point, the afternoon has to be with all of us doing work outside the committee. Do you agree, now that we've gone through the language and the web report, all of you need just that time, I believe. And tomorrow morning, I would like to meet. I would like to meet because we have to, there's two paths forward. We can concur with further amendment, or we can appoint a committee of commerce, we can. we'll-
Too much commerce here, too much.
a conference committee. And so let's see what our work allows us to learn between now and then. I would appreciate if members call me and keep me apprised of some of your individual conversations of things that are real sticking points and things that, are going to be easy to resolve. Linda?
So I just need Teresa or Maria to tell me, I still have the old copy, the new one the new language is being printed. What's the date for the latest one that we just went over today? Or anybody?
Not the 744 because that doesn't have any of the
Right.
language.
I just go by 178 pages.
Well,
That-
I would like to give Michael some,
Oh,
give his committee.
If you go on what you just had up, Teresa, it's on there.
There it is.
920.
9/20.
And is this the final document? Have were the Friday changes brought into this?
That we know of.
That's what I'm
Yeah.
told, Chrissy, this is supposed to be it, but.
Can we confirm that? Including, so it's the Friday afternoon changes from the Senate that,
Yeah, this is supposed to be everything.
Yes, that's right.
okay.
So this
I
is
like
it.
the keyword supposed to be.
I know.
Yeah,
There may be some, there's always something that, some little piece that gets overlooked that may end up coming to light. But other than that, this incorporates all the Friday language.
Okay.
So I think that we are going to meet tomorrow at 9 o'clock. I think 9 o'clock will be soon enough, especially if there's some last minute morning things. And the only thing on our agenda at this time is the budget. And I think our parent-child taken care of. And if not, I will see committee members tomorrow at 9, and Teresa, we can go off live streaming.
Okay, going offline.